Hello and welcome to this episode of Creating with Howcraft. My name is Denise Yezbak Moore with howcraftcollection.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create my Batik Bliss bracelet. The tools and supplies you will need to create this bracelet are wire cutters, round nose pliers, chain nose pliers, GS hypo cement, a button. This one is one that I picked up. It has 2 holes in the top. You will need some agate Batiks beads. These beads were just added to howcraftcollection.com. A ring. This is a Phoenix cylinder, some little spacer beads, 2 head pins, an 11-inch piece of suede cording, and 7-ply wax linen cording, 25 inches, 3 strands. A complete list of the jewelry making supplies and beads, along with printable PDF instructions, can be found on howcraftcollection.com. Search Batik Bliss Bracelet. We are going to start off by cutting 3 lengths of 25-inch 7-ply wax linen cording, or the cording of your choice. We're going to come over to this end. I'm going to take my wire cutters. And I just want the strands to be equal length, and wax linen cording is waxy, so I'm just rolling it to create a little needle. We're going to pick up our button, and we're going to pass the cording through the bottom about 4 or 5 inches. Pass it back through the top hole. We're going to pull it nice and tight. Come around and we're just going to form an overhand knot. And we're just going to slide this knot down. It's a thick knot. Pull it apart. Pull it nice and tight. Now we're going to come back in and we're going to trim off these short ends. We're going to pick up our GS hypo cement, and we are going to dab some glue on the knot so that the knot doesn't come undone. And now we need to let this dry. Let's get ready to string our beads. We're going to come over to the other side, and they're pretty lined up. And we're forming our needle. And we're going to pick up one of our silver-plated double washer beads. String that down to the end. Separate the strands. And I'm looking for that middle strand. And we're going to pick up this Batik style brown and white agate. And we're going to string that down, and we're going to place the cords on each side of the bead. And I'm holding them, the side cords, tightly. And we're going to form an overhand knot. I'm still holding the side cords, and I'm just moving the knot down. I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to pull that cord tight. Once again, we separated the strands. We're finding the center strand. We're picking up our second Batik style brown and white agate, and we're stringing that bead down, holding the side strands on each side of the bead. We're going to form an overhand knot and continue to hold those side strands as you move the knot down. Separate the strands and pull the knot tight. Now we're going to come back to the end, and we're going to form our needle. We're going to pick up one of the silver-plated double washers, our agate with the little stripe, the silver-plated double washer. We're going to string those beads down, and we are going to form an overhand knot, and we're just moving that knot down, separating the strands, pulling it tight, coming back over. We're going to form our little needle, pick up the double washer, the agate with the stripe, silver-plated double washer, bring that down. We're forming our overhand knot, making sure the beads are butted up right next to each other. Pull it down, separate the strands, pull it tight, come back in, form our needle, pick up the silver-plated double washer, our third agate with the stripe, our double washer, string it down, making sure the beads are nice and tight up against this knot. And we are forming an overhand knot, moving that knot down, separating the strands, pulling it tight, and you can see that our bracelet is starting to form. Now we need to bring all the cords together, form our little needle, and we're going to pick up this really cute little agate urn. And we're going to pass the cording through. Sometimes I twist it, it's right there. You can pick up your pliers, grab the cords, and we're going to pull this agate down, making sure all the strands are out of the way. Now we're going to form our overhand knot. I'm holding the bead right up against that knot, and I'm moving the cording down to form the knot at the top, separating the strands, pulling it tight. Now we're going to come back over and see how our cords are uneven. I'm just going to trim these again. And now we're forming our needle again, and we're picking up our double washer. This bead's a little bit different. It has little eyes on it. We're going to string that bead through. Our double washer. We're going to move it down. Beads are butted up next to the previous knot. And we are going to form our overhand knot by moving the knot down. I want to make sure that that little bead is out of the way. Separate the strands and pull it tight. Okay, now we're going to separate these strands. We're going to come back over and pick up this green eye bead. See how it has the little eyes? We're going to bring that down. Place the cords on each side of the bead, and I'm holding the cords with my fingers. We're going to come back in, and then we are going to form our overhand knot. Separate the strands and pull it tight. We're going to form our needle again, pick up one of our double washers, string that down to the end, pick up our rope pattern ring. We're going to form our overhand knot. And I'm just moving that knot down, making sure the knot is nice and tight. I'm going to grab our wire cutters. We're going to come over and we're going to trim off that end. Press it down, and we're going to grab our GS Hypo Cement again. And we're just going to come in, and we're going to dab that knot so that the knot does not come undone. And now we need to let that knot dry. If you have a little end, you just kind of go like that with your finger. And there it is. Our knot is now dry, so we're going to pick up an 11-inch length of suede cording. This one is soft brown. We're going to string it through the ring, making sure that the cording is lined up. I'm just going to hold it, and we're going to grab the Phoenix cylinder bead. We're going to pass that down so it butts up right next to the ring. And now we have to figure out how big our button is to make sure it will slide through. So I'm thinking right about here. So we're going to grab it. And we're going to form an overhand knot with the suede. We're just going to pull that down. And now we're going to check it to make sure that the button won't pass through, which it does. At this point, you can leave these a little longer, or if you want them a little shorter, I just come back in, cut that little end, come over to the side, and trim that little end. Now we're going to come in and create these little dangles. We're going to grab a head pin. This is a beaded head pin, and our oval agate eye beads. We're going to come over here and we're just going to bend the wire down, trim that little end. We're going to form a simple loop, and we are just rolling the wire towards us. And we'll do that one more time with our second head pin. We're stringing our agate eye bead, bend it down, trim that little end. We're forming our simple loop by rolling the wire towards us. Last step is to connect our loops. This is how you open a loop. So we're just going to open that loop, grab the bracelet, attach it, come back in, close the loop, grab our second loop, open that loop, come back in, and close the loop. And there you have it, how to create my Batik Bliss bracelet. If you are watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe at Howcraft USA. Follow us on Instagram at Howcraft Collection Beads. Be sure to visit howcraftcollection.com for more inspirational DIY projects and for all your jewelry making needs. New beads are added to the website weekly, and each week howcraftcollection.com features an amazing new sale. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.